Good morning. How are you doing today, Rachel?
Hi, I'm really good. How are you, Mr. Collins?
Doing absolutely fantastic. I got to tell you, you are the beacon of light that so many musicians, writers, and other creative minds are waiting for because of who you are and what your family history is. You're opening up doors and lives.
Oh my gosh, that means so much. Like, really, thank you so much. Like, hearing that from somebody else, that makes me want to grow as a person and just continue this journey. And I'm really grateful for that.
What has the journey been like? Because every person has their own story. Because something invited you to step free of your bedroom singing, and now the world is watching you, Rachel.
I know. I did not realize that I would be on a TV nationwide and just have everybody look at me. But what happened during this journey was that obviously I've been singing ever since the age of 2, and my dad's side of the family has a very musical background. And so I felt that it kind of was passed on to me, and music was kind of like in my genes. So I did have that already. And I had the help of my grandma and my dad kind of helped me pursue this dream and build it up to where it leads now. And I've also had a lot of music teachers and experiences along the way during school just to help me with that. And I felt that over time I was singing and I was doing this and that, but I wanted to take a bigger leap into this experience and opportunity. And I didn't feel like I was doing enough. So I wanted to take that leap and kind of do the voice and see where my passion goes. And it kind of did help me want to do it rather than having other people telling me, hey, you have to do this, do that. And it just made me want to work harder. So for this journey, it did help me want to keep pursuing singing and hopefully see where this goes. And I'm glad that everybody so far has seen this journey of mine and seen how much I've progressed.
You know what's really interesting about the story you just shared is the fact that I do a thing called defragging. And defragging is asking yourself the questions and then questioning yourself the answers. And the reason, and see, for you to take that leap of faith was you asking yourself, okay, I want more than this. Well, what are you going to do about it? And then yourself gave you that answer. You didn't have to run to anybody because you just said that. That says you are a leader in your process of growing.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that means so much. Honestly, when I was auditioning for this, I was like, I didn't have anybody with me. I was on the bed and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I was laying on the bed and I was bedbound for the whole 5 hours. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sign up and see what happens. And here we are. So it did something really good for me, and I'm just really happy that I did it.
Making that move to sign up, because I mean, all of a sudden, you have to hit that button, and then there it goes. Now you can't bring it back in. What was that like for you? And was it a cold moment of silence, or was it, I don't know, just do it?
I think I was just like, when I signed up, I was like, I don't know what I just did, but I did it. So let's see what happens. That's what my reaction was. Like, I didn't tell anybody I was going to do it. Like, nobody knew in my family. My family was just like, waited out 5 more years until you're 20, waited out till you're settled with college and stuff because I'm a senior. So I felt that my parents thought that the transition from senior to college this season would be a little hard. So taking on that task of being on The Voice, but as well as also being a student senior and having a lot of things to focus on and work up for the upcoming year, I felt that they were kind of scared for that. But I felt that singing, it doesn't feel like a job to me. So obviously I felt that doing this was an opportunity and another step into my journey and dreams. So I didn't feel that it was going to be something I would have a burden with, Yeah.
You being a senior in high school, I mean, you've got big things on your mind, like prom. I mean, that's right around the corner.
No, after doing this, it made me feel like I didn't have to be in those certain areas anymore. Like being at school, kind of doing the senior activities and stuff. I didn't feel that was going to be my first priority anymore. Like having this experience, I was just like, there's better things in life than going to senior prom or doing senior bowling night because I looked forward to that stuff. And I was like, okay, I could have just stayed home the whole time. So
hey, I gotta give you a compliment on something because I'm a 3rd degree black belt and watching people's body language is part of the training. The way that you keep your hands open and your fingers spread is positive. That means that you're constantly receiving positive energy. So you're going to be known for your hands as well.
Wait, you're a black belt?
Yeah, I am.
I couldn't get over the fact that wow. Thank you. I just love talking with my hands. Sometimes my parents are like, put your hands down. Like you do not want to converse with somebody like this. But I'm like, this is like how I express my words. So I was like,
oh man, if you could see this studio, everything is away from me because my hands keep knocking everything away. And like the microphone has to be in a position so I don't hit the microphone.
Oh my God, no, that's literally me. Like when I record stuff, I'm like, I have to tie my hands or they have to put it in my pockets or else I'll hit the mic. Like, because when I sing, I love to like get in people's faces just like this. It's so bad.
So now when you have this opportunity to stretch out into the world the way that you are, I would love to see how your social media is exploding.
Oh, it's drastically been like going up and up. And I was so shocked. Like, I was like, whoa, like, honestly, the social media thing, it was kind of the last thing that I would have thought of. But when my auditions and battles aired, I saw my following go up just the whole week. Like, it was crazy. And like, I was just like, before posting on social media, I was super insecure about like posting covers and stuff. But now that people have been commenting and reaching out to me about like producing music, releasing music out, and just like kind of reaching out to the world and sharing my dreams and sharing my gift that I have, I just want to start doing that because before I just had a lot of people, and like in today's society, we get judged a lot on how we base our social medias and what we post.
Right.
So I kind of fell into like just posting about like what I'm doing and like where I'm at, and not a lot of singing covers. But now that I've stepped out into this world and I've like stepped out of my shell, I do want to start posting that, and hopefully I just don't let anybody's words get in my head, because at school, nobody knew I sang. I was just like, and when they heard, they were like, how come you didn't tell me? And I was like, I was not trying to like get a little bullied and like insecure about it. I just wanted to keep it to myself. And when it would air, they would know, and I would see how people kind of changed and stuff. So I was like, let's keep this to myself and keep it kind of intimate with my family and see how it works. And obviously it went really well, and I'm super blessed on the results. So now I'm going to start posting music, and I feel that I don't have to fear of like other people's comments or opinions.
See, that's every reason why I created this podcast on iHeartRadio, Unplugged and Totally Uncut, because the real story behind that is that we all are addicted to creativity, but what we do is we hide our creativity. And hearing stories like yours where you're going, look, I was afraid to put it out there, but now I'm not afraid. There's somebody that's going to hear this that's locked up in their school or their bedroom, and they're going to say, well, if she did it, so am I. Because look at what Justin Bieber did. If he wouldn't have put those videos out there, he wouldn't be Justin Bieber.
Right. Yeah. That's why I was like, shoot, I need to get on this. Like, I need to stop being afraid. So I'm ready to put music out, and I'm just ready. Like, I'm ready. Like, there's nothing stopping me now. Because before I was like, shoot, I don't want to post any of this stuff because my friends are going to see it. They're going to think I'm weird. I'm like, okay, think I'm weird now. I could care less. Yeah,
because when I was in high school and we had a band, what happened was, oh, you guys are the people that are in the band. And then people wouldn't be our friends because we were the people in the band. And so we had our own section in the cafeteria, and it was like, man, I'd like to be a jock where I can hang out with the football players. But no, we were part of the band.
Story of my life. You wrapped it up. You wrapped it up.
When you're writing music, are you recording it at home? Do you have your own home studio then?
So before, I didn't really have the necessary equipment. I would always go to my teacher's studio just to record little things, but it wasn't much. But after what I've done so far, me and my dad also invested in a lot of equipment, recording stuff like a keyboard. It's right next to me. A keyboard, a mixer, a mic, and some headsets, and also cords. But obviously I couldn't handle that by myself. I didn't know how it worked. So I do, because I have family members that are very musical. My uncle comes around some days, Thursdays and Fridays, and he usually helps me with that.
Nice.
He's like a like somebody that doesn't have like he's just musically talented. Like for me, I was like I had to like learn 7 years of piano, and until this day I still can't play a full song. But with him, he can listen like 3 seconds of a song and he'll play it. So
Wow.
luckily I have him to be working aside with me, and we're hoping to produce music and release it soon. So
What are you using for an editor? Are you doing Pro Tools? Or you got Adobe Audition, Adobe Premiere? What you got going on?
So right now I was looking for a really good recording thing like on a Mac. I also invested in a Mac, but I didn't know how to like the works and the little tweaks of it yet. So my uncle is currently using Logic, or my cousin taught.
Of course.
Yeah. And we're going to start off with that. I want to start off with something small. I just don't want to invest in like a big thing. And I'm just like, I do not know how to use this. So, yeah, I'm investing in Logic right now, and he's helping me with that. So, yeah.
But you know what's going to happen, though, Rachel, is the fact that when you get in there as an engineer, first of all, I could see your life in 25, 30 years, you conducting other new musicians and being that leader inside that studio, but because you took the time to learn it now. But it also puts you in an area of being the perfectionist. Now, how are you going to handle that when all of a sudden you're going in there with your earphones on and I'm going to tweak it here, I'm going to tweak it here, I'm going to tweak it here?
Oh my gosh. I feel that going in it, I just have to be in a space where I'm like very calm.
Yep.
I can't like be overwhelmed, because when looking at those buttons, you're just like, you're either going to do it or you're just like, I'm going to take the day off and just leave it aside. So on the days that I come, I'm just like trying to calm myself down, relax, and just not be stressed about recording, because if you're stressed about it, it's just not going to be as fun, and you're just not going to get the results that you want at the end. So I feel like that's the way I'm going to come in. That's what I'm going to do when looking at all this stuff. But for me, I feel that before looking at it, I was very intimidated. But now that I'm stepping my foot into the music industry and just trying to get my foot in, it's just not good. It's not as hard for me, and it's not as kind of me having to do it.
Yeah, I always compare it to the computer files that we have when we put it on a hard drive. In other words, the guy that prepares for these interviews is different from the guy who's asking the questions, who's different from the guy who's going to edit all of this, who's different from the guy who's going to post it. And so when you're able to separate yourself like that, all of a sudden you find that calm.
Yes, exactly. I do.
Wow.
And like, it's just like I'm taking a little bit of something that a lot of people are doing, and they're doing more. So for me, I just felt that maybe starting off small and kind of learning the gist of things and growing from there, instead of just grabbing everything. Like producers, they have this whole mixer, and it's just like, I would not want to put myself in that position where I'm just like looking at that and I'm just like freaking out. So I like got myself little things just to start off, and that way I can grow from there. I feel like for me, I'm the type of person, I just want to grow. I just don't want to I just didn't want to take this opportunity and be like, okay, now I got to do big things, you know? I just wanted to grow and kind of go in my own pace.
Wow. See, that's thinking smart. That's, what do they say? Don't work smart, don't work hard, or something like that. And it's like, it's learning how to do it in the baby steps, because it's those baby steps that are going to create the gigantic foundation that's going to hold you up.
Yeah. Exactly.
So how often do you get back to Vietnam? Do you go to Vietnam at all?
So actually this December, I'm coming back to Vietnam for vacation.
Yeah.
We went back in 2015, and we were supposed to go every 5 years, but along the way, COVID 2020, we couldn't go. Yeah. So 2023 is the year that we're going to go. But I think I've had a lot of people reach out back in Vietnam just because they've never seen Viet representation a lot in one of these shows, and see that people have gone that far. So for me to go this far and still continue, it was just a blessing, and just to receive a lot of support back in Vietnam, and seeing that they can see this from in the United States, it means so much to me. And I'm super excited, just not to go back to Vietnam for vacation, but also like to do a lot of experiences there and have the opportunity just to also be in the Viet industry. So
my neighbors go to Vietnam twice a year, and they'll go a month at a time, and because they love it so much, they say this is a place of peace. When the moment you step on the soil in Vietnam, you feel peace.
whatever they're saying is true. Everything about it is true except the heat. When you step out in Vietnam, you just start sweating like you just sweat like a bag of sweat. It's like crazy. Like the food is amazing.
Hmm.
The culture is amazing. All the people are amazing, but that sweat and that heat, like to get the food, you're like walking like 3 feet right next. They're like selling food right next door, but you'll be sweating walking outside. So everything is about it, but the sweat, I feel like it's part of the experience. So
Do you find yourself maybe in your long-term vision to go back and record people in Vietnam? Because you know that when they're, even if they're out there in the fields, you know they're singing a song, because that's the way it has been here in the South. So many people came from the fields, and all of a sudden we had soul music and R&B. It all grew from the soil.
hmm so for me, I felt that I was grown like in a musical family where I was taught R&B and I love singing R&B, but
Hmm.
also my grandma, she taught me from the roots. She taught me how to first she taught me how to speak and write Vietnamese. I felt that she did that with all of my siblings, and I felt that she wanted us just to have a foundation with our culture, just because a lot of days we tend to kind of fit more into the American society, just like eating out like American food, going to school and having to speak English. And she just wanted us to have some sort of background knowledge and like a Vietnamese foundation. And with that, I feel that it's kind of, I do want to take part in just also being here and doing the American industry and hopefully getting it. But whenever Vietnam calls me or like any Vietnamese artist calls me back, I want to take that opportunity and just like kind of serve that back to them, just because my grandma has taught me just
Yep.
to always, she reminds me of my culture and who I am. So I always want to kind of stick to my foundation and my culture.
I love
So
your grandmother for doing that, because even, to become a third-degree black belt in martial arts, a part of that lesson was we had to go in and study the history of North and South Korea. And if we didn't pass that written test about the history of two countries, then you didn't deserve to be a black belt. So I'm glad your grandmother is doing that. The history is where we grow into the future.
she gave me a reason why I started singing, and I felt that the Vietnamese culture itself was part of it. And Vietnamese culture, music wise, is there's a lot of like branches of music. And I felt that she was the one that opened me up just so that I can grow into this journey for R&B pop music and
Hmm.
stuff. So
Wow.
yeah, very grateful.
Rachel, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. I want to see you grow so
I am
big in the
so
music
down.
business.
Yes, I am so down. I will do this any day. 6 a.m. I'll do this 6 a.m.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
Thank you so much. Yes, I will. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day, Mr. Collins.